Why won't you die?
Beneath this mask, there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. And ideas are bulletproof.
Broadcasting from Brisbane, Australia, this is the FOMO Show.
Cryptocurrency for the rest of us. I'm Matt.
And I'm Joe.
And this is a podcast where you'll hear about cryptocurrency in plain English. We'll help you stay across the crypto world so you don't get the fear of missing out.
You can find us at fomo.show and you can check out our site there for all the updates that we've got. Oh, this isn't episode 10, this is episode 11.
Yeah, man.
Big 1-1. Mate,
that's right.
Keen. So today's going to be a news-heavy episode. We're just going to be talking about the last couple of weeks of news and the little interesting bits around that. And we're just going to be having a chat about what we think is awesome this episode. And next episode, we're going to get back into some big, meaty topics of coin features and things like that.
Joe, is this investment advice?
No, This is not investment advice because, new cryptocurrencies are popping up every day and it's hard to tell which ones are legit and which ones aren't. And we're not saying you should buy anything at all. For full disclosure, we're personally invested in different cryptocurrencies. Some of them we talk about on the show. But if we're talking about something, it doesn't mean you should buy it. As we're going to discuss with Bitconnect today, some people were, promoting these sort of coins, but just don't buy something if somebody else is interested in them, because the last thing you want to do is get hurt and for that to be on someone else's advice. So make sure you do your research, never invest more than you can afford to lose, and avoid the fear of missing out.
If you've never bought crypto before, you should check out our guide at fomo.show/101. It's got everything you need to know to buy, store, and send your first Bitcoin. If you've got a question about anything you've heard, drop us a tweet, email, or join our Slack message board at fomo.show/Slack.
Yeah, so that Slack messaging board is really cool. It's a way that you can drop questions to us, speak to some of the other people who are in there, share your news articles, and often we'll be talking about the things that people have been popping into our Slack over the week. So do feel free to join us. You'd be very welcome there.
If you want to know a little bit more about crypto, you can check out our Blockchain Basics series. You've got to go back through our podcast to get to it. It starts in episode 2. We normally run the segment near the end of the episode, and it continues until around about episode 8. What it'll do is it'll give you some grounding in the fundamentals and help you understand what on earth we're talking about. That's not the end of our Blockchain Basics series. We are going to do another series soon, and we're going to start off with staking. So Luke, one of our listeners, asked us in Slack if we could cover staking sometime. And when we say staking, we mean opening your wallet to the network on the system called Proof of Stake. And what this means is that you can generally generate a certain amount of interest per week or per month or even per day with some of the higher interest coins just from securing the network with your wallet open and having a computer on all the time. So we really like proof of stake coins, and it's something that we're going to cover very soon in our Blockchain Basics series.
All right, let's jump into some of the news. So, it was, when was it? Was it shortly after Christmas, or was it in the crash the other week where Bitconnect just totally fell?
Yeah, mate, I had really mixed feelings about this one because part of me was really happy to see Bitconnect itself go down because it's a Ponzi scheme and they've been scamming people for a long time now, and a lot of people thought they were getting into crypto when they were getting into Bitconnect, when really they were just sending their money to people and getting nothing in return. And it was quite obvious to anyone who's seen these schemes work before that they were going to take all the money at some point and run away. The moment the heat got too hot, they were going to get out of Dodge. And that's what's happened. And like I said, it was quite pleasing to see that, that their scam has finally run its course. But at the same time, just some of the posts, man, from all these people who'd lost a lot of money on this were quite heartbreaking.
Yeah, that was just sad. It's sad to see because there were a lot of a lot of YouTubers were really promoting this. You had that Crypto Nathan, who is this 17-year-old crypto millionaire supposedly, and you got Trayvon James and a bunch of other big YouTubers who were sort of just promoting BitConnect, and they were getting their own kickbacks by being part of this BitConnect program. So, they were making a huge amount of money on it, and they've probably lost money alongside everyone else. But I mean, there are some really upset people, and there's a class action lawsuit that's been filed against some of the prominent BitConnect promoters. So, yikes!
Yeah, and look, I'm not big on using the state as a tool to come after other people, but I think this is one of those things where you can actually say, well, that's kind of what they deserve. These guys are scum. These guys that are promoting it, they've used their audience and they've made a lot of money from their audience, and they would have known that this product was nothing more than a pyramid, and they've still given it to their listeners. It's unacceptable, mate. And
so
I think
just to backtrack a little bit, what is BitConnect?
Essentially, what BitConnect was a Ponzi scheme where the creators created a whole bunch of tokens. And they were called BitConnect. To buy into this system, you had to pay Bitcoin. So you had to give them Bitcoin.
Right.
What they would do is they would then give you these BitConnect tokens in return for your Bitcoin. And then what they would say is, okay, now you're in our ecosystem. You now have the option to take out what's called like an interest. I can't remember what they called it, but essentially it was like an interest loan. It was like you loan those coins back to the creators, and you specify the amount of time you want to loan them back for. So you say, I want to loan them back for 2 months, or I want to loan them back for 4 months, or 6 months, or 8 months. And at the end of that time, the BitConnect ecosystem would give you back those BitConnect tokens, plus an additional amount of BitConnect tokens on top of that as interest.
Right.
So you'd essentially be earning interest on these BitConnect tokens. The problem with that was that there was a minting rate higher than any of these interest rates built into the system, where the creators would get new BitConnect tokens at a higher rate than they'd be paying interest out to everyone else. Now, so that was the first part of the system. Not really a pyramid there. It was more just the creators fleecing everyone for their money and essentially saying you'll earn interest on it, but they were earning more. They'd built more into the algorithm behind the scenes. So a bit of a crooked system, but not that bad in the grand scheme of things. But what then happened was that you were offered more BitConnect the more people you could bring into this scheme. So you would be rewarded for every new person you brought in, and you'd be rewarded based on the amount of money they would spend, so the amount of Bitcoin they would spend and exchange for BitConnect. And so, like any classic Ponzi scheme, there was layers and layers and layers, and the people up to the top brought in people below. And so then all these people were getting in, and yeah, like these YouTube celebrities, they were right near the top. They had all their subscribers below them, and they were getting a whole bunch more kickbacks from the BitConnect system.
And then it was, if their subscribers had got more people on as well, then the YouTubers would have got a lot of downstream sort of referrals.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah, and that's how a pyramid scheme works. It's essentially it's a Ponzi scheme. But of course, what happens with most Ponzi schemes is that the people at the top, once they hit a certain point, they cash out. They say, well, we've made our money now we can move on. And it's everyone else that's left without a chair when the music stops. And the problem is that people paid in with Bitcoin, but they never got Bitcoin in return. And it was very hard for you to cash out from the BitConnect ecosystem. It was kind of closed off from everywhere else. Right. And they did a lot of shady things. Like they'd have like passive income counters and all sorts of different things to try and make people feel like they were just generating all this passive income. But really it was just these useless BitConnect tokens. And the moment everything fell down, the token value crashed, and, everyone was left holding these tokens that essentially were worth nothing. And they'd given all their Bitcoin over to the creators, and the creators had ran off with it. So that's the BitConnect story, mate.
Yeah. Yikes. Well, there are undoubtedly some real upset people at the end of that. Like,
Yeah.
yikes.
Basically, if it looks like a pyramid scheme, or if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
And just need to steer clear of it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, if it's promising you some type of return, be very cautious. I mean, yikes. Next piece of news. Maersk and IBM. So Maersk is this massive global shipping company. You've probably seen their logo on the side of some of those big boats or shipping containers. So Maersk and IBM are creating an unnamed blockchain company to make the shipping industry more efficient. So we're here at the fomoshow. We're calling it Boaty McBoatchain. But it's a really, really interesting idea. Now, there's more information on the IBM site, and you can find the link in the show notes. But essentially, there are a bunch of different really good videos on their YouTube channel showing it. But they were saying, on a typical route that a ship has to go to that's taking shipping containers somewhere, you've got more than 200 pieces of paperwork that need to be signed by various port authorities or governments or customs and tax, and the people who run the canals, for example, and you've got to pay fees and you've got to sign things off. And there are so many layers of approval that it can take weeks and weeks, and there can be real hold-ups with it. So what IBM and Maersk are doing is they're basically trying to use the blockchain to help make global trade more efficient. So by having your journeys on as part of a big smart contract, so that all those 200 people, have a stake in the process, they can get through the approvals process. They can just tick things off, and it can make things a whole lot more efficient. And they reckon that they'd actually be able to boost global trade by nearly 15%.
Wow.
Which is a huge claim.
It's a huge claim, but mate, it makes sense. Like, I remember one of the first times I was really trying to explain smart contracts on the blockchain to someone. One of the examples I used was like a supply business, someone that supplies different things to building sites, for example, and just like the logistics that even just that small level of transaction goes through, the different bits of paperwork and things people need to sign, and how you can cut a lot of that out with having a distributed ledger that's accessible to all the systems, and people having everything in one place and not dispersed through a whole bunch of different systems, and smart contracts that reacted to when different external events were fed in. And yeah, this is just it on a way bigger scale, and it really could shake things up more than I think they even realize, because the moment automated ships start making a real appearance on the scene, I mean, imagine just plugging a ship into a smart contract.
Yikes.
If it's controlled by an AI, and it just off it goes, it just loads everything up itself, checks itself into port, collects the fees it needs to collect, sends the paperwork, the digital paperwork it needs to send in the smart contract. It's just everything could be sped up so much.
So apparently they've started collaborating in June 2016. So they've been doing it for over a year now, and they've had a bunch of different parties who are piloting the program. So you've got DuPont, Dow Chemical, Tetra Pak, which is a massive packaging company. You've got a number of different Netherlands-based ports and customs administrations. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection have been one of the parties trialing it. So these are huge places as far as global shipping is concerned. So there's going to be a huge amount of interest there. There's even the Singapore customs and Peruvian customs. They've been looking into it as well. And there's even some interest in China as well. So it looks like this might be absolutely phenomenal. Yeah,
it's going to be an easy sell to people too. The one thing people do not like is paperwork.
Boy. Mate, Amazon, they opened up their grocery store more recently. What was going on with that?
Yeah, this is really, really cool. This is another one of those ones where we could be seeing the beginning of a very, very rapid change. So Amazon is opening a cashier-free store, which will allow customers who install the Amazon Go app to simply pick up an item and walk out with it. So they're going to put it in Seattle, and it's going to be known as Amazon Go. And it's essentially going to rely on cameras and sensors to track what shoppers remove from the shelves and what they put back. So if it works, mate, this may take off very quick, because imagine if you can just walk into a store, pick up what you wanted, and walk out.
Wow.
I mean, that used to be called shoplifting. Now it's called Amazon Go. You know, right? That's great.
Yeah, that is a brilliant idea. I'd love to find out what kind of tech they're using. And it's amazing that it's sort of a digital company. I love that they start with the internet and then sort of move into physical stores. Like you had the Amazon bookstore that they had, and I think they bought an old Barnes and Noble store or something like that, some kind of kick in the teeth. And then sort of set up their bookstore in there a couple of years ago. But yeah, it's amazing to see how they're applying tech to physical shops.
Yeah, and it's just showing the shift, isn't it? The shift from, like, because there's been all these innovations in tech, but eventually they do permeate the real world. And if you're not on top of it, you're going to get the tech guys moving in and making you irrelevant. And that's what's really happening here with this Amazon Go. Like, give it 5 years, and if supermarkets haven't adopted this system and they're not letting you just to walk in and walk out, I think they might struggle, because it's going to be so much more convenient if you can just essentially walk in, grab your stuff, and then just wander out again, not have to pay for anything, but just have it automatically deduct from the app. And look, you could take it one step further. You know, you could have your preferred items, and you just click your Amazon Go app and say, I'm going to be coming in 5 minutes. And I think, because it was really interesting, I was in a pharmacy a couple of weeks ago, and they had this like pneumatic robotic system where whenever the pharmacist requested a prescription or some kind of pharmaceutical in a box, so you click the button, and then you'd hear this like pop like in about 10 seconds from further back, and then this kind of like sucking noise, and all of a sudden this other pop, and then it'd come down this thing from the roof. And it'd bump straight in this little tray right next to where you're sitting. Wow! And you just pick it out. And I said, and this was happening just before I went overseas, and because I was just scared of getting sick, which actually happened. And, and I said, "Have you got someone in the back there feeding these things through pneumatic tubes? Do you?" And she said, "No, it's completely robotic now. I just request it, and there's a robotic arm back there that just pulls it off its shelf and puts it in the tube, and off it goes."
Wow.
You could see the same thing happening with these supermarkets. So like this is just the beginning of the automation, the shopping automation trend. And it won't just be groceries, like it'll be everything.
Yeah, and Walmart are not going to take this sitting down there.
No, they're not.
Because Amazon have had their Amazon Fresh service it's been a few years now, where they're delivering groceries in the US, but it just seems like the logical extension there. The fact that Amazon, like, they'll design the homepage, they'll put products in a certain place, you know, they'll put the most popular products first and things like that. Now, like other retailers, certainly they pay people to do marketing and arranging things where people are more likely to see them, but it seems like Amazon has such a massive data set to work with from years of people shopping for their groceries online. They're going to be able to lay out a store very efficiently. Be very interested to see how that works.
Well, the other thing is too, I don't think you're going to need anywhere near as much shelf space, because you think about it, like once you get the system sorted, you could very easily only have a few items of anything on the shelf, and have a lot of it just working, you know, robotically behind the scenes to bring the new items in whenever you want. Because if they're going cashier free, the next logical step is going to be attendant free and store pack and shelf packer free. And when you take someone like Amazon and you say you toss up paying someone for a whole year to stock shelves, or perhaps paying 7 people for a whole year to stock shelves, or to run a new set of, robotics or something through your store to grab the items from the back of the store and bring them to the front, I think they're going to take that option. And so I think you're going to very quickly see automated stores pop up in their entirety without any attendance.
That's fantastic. I'm really excited to see what happens with that.
It's cool, man. It's really cool, and I think it's gonna touch a lot more than we think it.
You could see petrol stations. For things like petrol stations, this would be so easy. Because you could get rid of that whole thing could just be automated very easily. Small revenue generating petrol stations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Same deal. As long as we don't have to implant anything in our skin or wear something that tracks us, I'm completely happy.
Oh, mate. Sweet bit of news that came out the other day. Robinhood are adding zero-fee cryptocurrency trading beginning next month to their platform. Now, Robinhood is super exciting. I've been following them for 3-4 years now. I've been on the waiting list for at least 3 years, and I still haven't joined, which is annoying. But basically, they are using... it's a company that's backed by Google and a number of big venture capital firms, and they are creating... They already offer zero-fee stock trading, mainly to US people at the moment. It's opening up to Australia as the second country they're coming to, and they'll be expanding out after that. Now, they've been working with regulations for a long time, so there's a huge amount that's required for them to get into the market. But if you're in the US, you can trade stocks and shares with zero fees on the Robinhood platform. And zero fees means just that. You buy something, it goes up a bit, you sell it that afternoon, you make all of that money in profit. And it's a fantastic concept. And how do they do that? They do that by using the technology. I mean, they're using tech to basically reduce the fees to zero. And they make money from margin trading, so giving people basically loans that they want to be able to trade on. And they also make money from all of the cash that you put into your trading account. They'll make interest on that. So the collective money from
kind of like how banks make money on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really fascinating, and they undercut everybody else on the market, whether it's E-Trade, Scottrade, whatever the company might be that you'd be trading through. They've got zero fees, and you just can't beat that as far as practicality. Right. Now, I'm using the word disruption. They're disrupting the financial industry. They've got at least 3 million users in the US so far. And this is going to be huge. They're going to add zero-fee cryptocurrency trading. So that's just it's just more things that are opening up the market to new people who haven't considered buying cryptocurrency before.
Well, everyone's going to have to shift too, aren't they? I mean, Coinbase, I think the thing about the crypto market is people are they're already keyed into all this disruption, and they're not loyal. They're not just going to stay with Coinbase because they've been going with Coinbase before. These are crypto savages. Everyone who's into crypto are people that are going against the grain, doing something different to the system. And if someone comes up with a zero fee solution, I mean, mate, if this comes to Australia and I can bring my fiat in, I'm never using Coinbase again.
Oh, 100%. Because why pay 4% when you can pay 0%? Exactly.
When there's no difference in the service, like if you're still getting the same cryptocurrency at the end of it, I think it will force everyone else to adjust as well. And I really like how they do it with the technology. They've said, well, we're going to make it possible to have zero fees using the technology, and if we're going to make money from the risky trading, essentially. If people want to take risks, well, then we'll I guess it's kind of like a casino, isn't it? Yeah. For that part of it, and they say, well, we'll make money from that and keep fees to pretty much zero for everyone else.
So, according to the news release, they said starting today, you can add 16 cryptocurrencies below to your watch list. You can monitor the market data, read cryptocurrency news, and create custom price alerts. So, these 16 include Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Zcash, Monero, Omi's Go, Lisk, Dogecoin. So, there are a bunch in this list, and they're saying next month, so February, round-the-clock, commission-free cryptocurrency trading will begin. It will be limited to Bitcoin and Ethereum at first, with more coins tradable later. So the coins that they add to that platform are coins that I'm going to be watching, because ultimately, the easier it is to get into those cryptocurrencies, the more investable they are, because more people will be getting into them. So
awesome.
I'd just be looking at the ones that they start adding to the platform, and I'd very much consider having some of those myself.
Yeah, and there's some great ones in there. Dash, Neo, Stellar, Zcash.
It's exciting.
Awesome. Monero, cool.
So yeah, you can sign up at Robinhood.com. You can sign up for the crypto waitlist at crypto.robinhood.com, and I think there are about over 500,000 people in the queue so far. So even if you're in the US, you're going to be waiting a while, but it's going to be real exciting.
Awesome.
Mate, it is a lovely and toasty hot day in Brisbane today.
You mean Crypto City?
Oh, mate. Well, funny you should say that. The Brisbane airport are going to be accepting cryptocurrencies at the airport terminal. So that is a world first for airports. And hopefully it'd be really cool to get in touch with some of these people to have a chat with them about it. But yeah, according to their news release, which was just a couple of days ago, it said when travellers arrive or depart at Brisbane Airport, they'll soon experience an unprecedented digital currency airport experience. So in partnership with a company called Travel by Bit, which basically is trying to get cryptocurrency into the travel sector, they're going to bring blockchain-enabled payments to its terminal shopping. So you'll be able to pay in Dash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a bunch of other cryptocurrencies to shop at a bunch of the stores in the airports.
Yeah, man, and this CEO of Travel by Bit, he's really switched on too. He said, "We are building a genuine use case for cryptocurrencies in the tourism industry. The application of digital currencies in this sector makes a lot of sense. Whenever you travel overseas, you have to deal with multiple currencies, and you never know what exchange rates the banks are charging you." Mate, I can attest to this personally. We've just come through the US and we're now up in Canada, and just getting cash out at different places. I'm lucky enough to have a bank card that doesn't charge me fees, so I've been getting away with paying with my card quite a bit, but it still makes it really difficult when you're changing countries and some places say, "Oh, we only accept cash," and you're like, "Well, crap, like I don't have any cash, I've got my card." And then you go to an ATM. In the US, the cheapest ATM I found wanted to charge me $5 to get money out as a fee. Legitimately, we searched and searched for an ATM that was cheaper, could not find one. $5 ATM fee, and nowhere did cash out.
Wow.
So he's very right in the fact that you can really get stitched up depending on where you are by having to transfer back into someone else's currency. Whereas if you can pay in crypto, that makes it completely different. And a lot of people have, made some serious gains in crypto as well, and they travel, and this just makes it a lot easier for those people to travel using their crypto.
Mate, that is really exciting, and it's really interesting. Like, I mean, of all the cities in the world, the one that both of us call home, accepting cryptocurrency in that airport, like it's really big. So we're going to try and find out a bit more about that company, Travel by Bit, see if we can get in touch with them. But really, really fascinating stuff. So we'll be keeping you up to date on how Australia, which has got a really good environment as far as cryptocurrency is concerned, and we're going to be keeping you up to date on that because it's a real sign of where some other places might be going soon. Mate,
that is really cool. By the way, like when I read that article, I was like, wow, like we may actually. Brisbane may actually be really big for crypto in the future.
Cool little piece of news about from Tesla. So it's not cryptocurrency related, but Basically, under a new all-or-nothing pay package, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, will remain at Tesla for the next decade and see his pay tied to really high growth targets. So basically, in the proposal, it requires that Tesla grow in $50 billion leaps up to a staggering $650 billion market cap, according to news.com.au. And right now, the car maker is worth less than $60 billion. But if all of these goals are achieved, Elon Musk's his stock options would be worth up to $55 billion. And he would own 28% of Tesla, which would be worth $182 billion by then.
Wow.
So he may well be one of the wealthiest people in the world 10 years from now.
I think he's seen this move to automation, and he's realized that Tesla is probably the best position out of nearly any company to capitalize on it, because everything's going to run on electric motors. All of these automated cars are going to run on electric motors, and they've been doing that for longer than anyone. And if they can really capitalize on that and really push into that market, I think Tesla could be huge.
Oh boy, yeah. And if
Very
anyone's
soon.
kept up with the mega, it's called the Gigafactory. That's what it's called. Lots of different ones. If you haven't seen it already, check out the Tesla Gigafactory. So it is one of the largest buildings on the planet, and it still hasn't been finished building yet. It's got enough space to fit tens of Boeing 747s in it. It's this massive factory that's being designed. It's been designed like a microchip. It's been designed with so much efficiency, designed for automation and automating the production of batteries and cars and solar panels, I believe. But it's just going to be huge. That they're designing this factory to be so efficient in the same sort of way that Amazon, as we mentioned, is looking at designing shops. That's what Tesla are doing for factories. They're actually making a robot. The factory is one giant robot, basically. And it's huge. So it's really worth checking out. Really interesting stuff there. And there are more gigafactories that are going to be announced this year, I believe Elon Musk said. So we may well see a Tesla gigafactory appear in China. Certainly in Asia, there are going to be a few of those. But if we get a few more of those factories built, electric cars will suddenly be at a drop in price due to the increased supply.
Awesome. Oh, mate, did you see the news about this hack?
Oh, brutal. Who was it again? It was the Tokyo. Who was it again?
It was a Tokyo-based exchange called Coincheck. I've never heard of them, but they must be quite big in Japan.
Right.
But apparently, there's over 500 million worth of NEM tokens were taken. They were stored in a low-security hot wallet, and they weren't using multi-sig, and someone has hacked the exchange, and it actually represents more loss value than Mt. Gox, which was previously the largest hack ever in history, and it kind of set the crypto market back probably a year.
Now, while the crypto market has definitely grown a lot since Mt. Gox, so it's not as big a volume compared to back then, it's still huge. So, like, that's a huge $500 million taken. And then it's saying that they're looking into compensating their customers, its executives apparently announced. But what? How do you compensate people for $500 million?
Yeah, I know. Unless their insurance covers it. But I think the issue they're going to have is they weren't registered with Japan's financial services agency. So I think the moment an insurer looks at that, they're going to say, well, you weren't following the rules.
Yeah.
Look, the big test is going to be, I think, in this one is we're going to really see now how we keep saying Japan's government is so enlightened compared to everyone else as far as crypto goes. And we've got a friend who's traveled over there recently, and he said he saw Bitcoin signs everywhere, and it seemed to be very crypto friendly. But we're now going to see that put to the test because, as you know, when things go wrong with this kind of stuff, the natural reaction for governments is to come down really hard and change laws. You know, people are always screaming out to change things, or something should be done. You know, there's always something should be done. And we're going to now see whether things change. Look, it may be that because they were operating unregulated, that may be the only thing that people really take out of that. But look, this was more of a security issue at the end of the day, I think, than anything else, wasn't it?
It really just goes to show, if you're looking after other people's cryptocurrency, you need to get your security is so important. And we're going to be touching on the ledger Cryptosteel in a minute or so. But it just, like, the fact that it was just in a wallet that just had one private key, that was all that was required to get into it. And considering there was so much money stored on that wallet, it just does not look good.
No, and I can guarantee you, if you had a half-competent security auditor come in and look at that, they would have recommended you distribute that out amongst a lot more wallets, add some more security features. Multi-sig, you can't be running any kind of exchange and not have everything secured by multi-sig. And for those of you guys who don't know what multi-sig is, essentially it means that to take the money out of the wallet, you require more than one private key. So it actually it's kind of like requiring more than one signature on a bank check before money can be drawn out of a bank account. It's the same thing. And it actually allows you, so a hacker could get one of the private keys but not be able to do anything with it because he doesn't have the other 7. You know, and that's really, you know, where they probably should have gone with this, is if anyone wanted to withdraw it, like if it wasn't the user themselves accessing it, then it should have been stored in a multi-sig wallet.
So it just goes to show security is so important. And that brings us on to the ledger Cryptosteel. So this I only came across in the last couple of weeks, but you know, many people have probably seen it before. But basically it's they're saying it's the premier indestructible backup tool for optimal offline storage of your recovery phrase. So that 24-word recovery phrase that you're given for your wallet, you can actually store in this metal case, which basically has a bunch of little shelves in it, and it comes with a bunch of little letters. So you can you can basically enter all the letters for your recovery words on this piece of metal into the shelf in this little metal case, which is resistant to fire, water, shock, and wear, which is a really awesome idea. So they're saying that it will safeguard your 24 words for eternity, whatever that is. But yeah, really, really interesting idea. Have you taken a look at this?
I have, mate. It looks really, really cool. I'd recommend everyone just go at least have a look at the photos, because it looks schmick. Like it looks like something that you would just feel like an absolute boss pulling out of your pocket and saying. You wouldn't want to be storing it in your pocket, of course, but theoretically, in a theoretical world, you can pull it out of your pocket and people would be really impressed. But it's such a good idea because a lot of people store everything in paper, and that's a really good strategy, and we've recommended that before, but it doesn't account for a house fire or hail breaking in through your window and the rain soaking everything, or just losing something somewhere as well. I mean, the paper's quite light too.
Yep. And even pen wears off after a few years, you know? That's
right, yeah. At the end of the day, you're using ink, aren't you? Whereas this is nigh on indestructible. So if you're storing even more than a few $100, I think it'd be worth taking a serious look at.
So I'm definitely debating getting a couple of these, you know, burying what, you know, it'd be cool just to store your funds on a ledger and then have this Cryptosteel, buy a couple of them, store them in different places to have your backup seed on, you know, different physical locations. So you got it secure, but it seems like a really awesome concept.
Well, do you know what this whole crypto revolution is probably going to do more than anything else? It's going to revive the old treasure hunts, because you think about it, the amount of people now that are going to be storing all their private keys on these ledger Cryptosteels or anything else and just burying them somewhere with some map to, like, you know, walk 6 paces this way and then walk 1 kilometer that way and then dig, you know, 2 paces to the left of the white tree.
That sounds like fun, dude. Like, you know,
mate,
Pirates X marks the spot. You know, that'd be sick.
Yeah, I mean, if you imagine finding one of those maps, then you'd be like going on a treasure hunt.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely thinking, as far as like long-term security, I want to just like have somewhere in the middle of nowhere, where you can just like dig a hole like a half a meter deep, put it down, and know that it doesn't matter what happens, you're the only one who knows it's there. That's a really cool idea. And speaking of on the security topic, I was on the MyEtherWallet website the other day, and they've been improving it over the last few months, and they've made it really good at telling you about security and the importance of security. So if you go to myetherwallet.com, and it will immediately prompt you with more information about security, and it's really well written, really well put together, just basically highlighting that MyEtherWallet, which is, if you haven't heard of it, it's a wallet for you to store it allows you to set up and manage your Ethereum wallet, but you hold all the data. They're just an interface for it. But they've put together a really good guide to help you both understand the blockchain and what that's all about, the importance of your private keys, and also how to get more secure and how to securely access your funds. And that's really important. So if you're still new to the cryptocurrency stuff, or even if you're not so new, go to the MyEtherWallet website and just click through the light box that pops up overlaying the site. Really well done.
Yeah, I'm just reading through some of their sections on how to protect yourself from loss, and it's really complete, and it's really, really good.
Look, you can see quotes like this: how to protect yourself from loss. Look, if you lose your private key or password, it's gone forever. Don't lose it, I'm quoting. Make a backup of your private key and password. Do not just store it on your computer. Print it out on a piece of paper or save it on a USB drive. Store this paper or USB drive in a different physical location. A backup is not useful if it's destroyed by a fire or flood along with your laptop. Don't store your private key in Dropbox, Google Drive, or other cloud storage. If that account's compromised, your funds will be stolen. And then they say, if you have more than 1 week's worth of pay of cryptocurrency, get a hardware wallet. No excuses. It's worth it. I promise. And that's really good
Which is
advice.
quite good advice. That's really, really good advice. And look, at that point, you don't have an excuse really either, because a hardware wallet will probably only cost you about 10% of that 1 week's worth of pay, give or take.
And in 2 years,
on.
that 1 week's worth of pay is going to be worth a lot more. Not investment advice, but yeah.
You beat me to it. I was just hashtag. Bold predictions on the crypto show. Security, man. You can't overstate enough how important it is. And I think we've all grown up not really learning to value our online security at all. Like, you don't get taught any of this at school. You use computers at school. You assume that everything's fine. Some administrators onto it. You use your own computer. You assume that Windows or Apple or Linux even, they all know what they're doing and they've secured it. Or if you've got like Avast or some other virus protector or Malwarebytes or something, you assume that's enough. But the guys out there that are trying to hack this stuff are really, really good. And a lot of them have worked for companies that develop all this technology. So they know the ins and outs of it. You have to take it so much more seriously, because it's digital cash. Yeah. Like it's internet money, and there's no coming back from losing it. That's it. Yeah. If you lose it, it's gone. So it's really worth getting into this security stuff really, really early. At least taking the basic steps. Get this hardware wallet, get a VPN. Make sure you run malware scans every day, run virus scans every day. Quarantine your storage wallets away from your main computer. Put things in cold storage. Have backups in different places. It's just all that stuff. It might seem like too much, but these hackers, they go after the lowest hanging fruit, and they go after people that don't take any extra steps. And it's not that hard these days, especially with all the information around, to make yourself a lot harder to hack than the average person.
So just keep it as secure as you really want your money to be. So if you don't want your money to be at all secure, just go ahead. Just don't even password protect it.
In fact, just send us your private keys, to be honest. I mean, it's better. It's better we have it than someone else. You know, like if you really want to give your money away, at least give it to us.
So, yeah, thanks for all our regular listeners for tuning in. It's a pleasure having you here, and yeah, it's good to have you here. Feel free to join our Slack if you haven't before. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah.
If you'd like to be a part of the show, why not send us a voice recording? If it's under a minute long and in an MP3 or WAV file, we'll try our best to fit you into the show. Whether you're sharing news or a few facts about an industry, if it's an interesting tidbit or even an observation, just send it in. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. So email it to us at fomoshow@protonmail.com. You can drop it into a direct message in Slack, or you can just send it via carrier pigeon. Just point it in the right direction. We'll get it.
But don't send it on the Bitcoin blockchain.
No, it'll take too long.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. So in the hype of all this Bitconnect fail, and you had this class action lawsuit that's named a bunch of YouTubers, including Crypto Nick, 17-year-old YouTube millionaire. So I was just checking out some of his old videos, and I was checking out one of his first videos back last year or 2016. I think it was 2017. And he was... The video, it wasn't related to BitConnect, but it was about Ethereum, and he was saying like the price of Ethereum at the time was $16. Ethereum's now $900 odd dollars. And he was saying, look, the price used to be $7 not a few months ago when I first got in, and now it's $16, and it's so much higher, and I don't want to buy anymore because I don't think it's worth 16. Now you fast forward to today, so it's the beginning of 2018, and forget $16, it's now worth, hundreds of dollars. How do you get around this whole fear that you've bought it really cheap and then the price went up and you want to buy more? Do you buy more usually, or do you just never buy any more because it's too expensive?
Look, I'd love to say I've I've never felt that, but I had that moment with PivX.
Oh, yeah.
When it went up, I really didn't want to buy anymore because I kind of felt like I'd got in cheap, and then and then it went up, and it went up a fair bit, and I just didn't feel like it was worth that. I thought it was worth that amount. I actually thought it was worth more than that, but it was just the thought that it might come back down, or it might get back in lower. And there's something about knowing that you can get 300 of something. You got 300 of something at one price, but now you can only get 150 of that at the new price. It does weird things to your head.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to push through it. I think like I found I pushed myself. I can't remember who I listened to, but someone else recommended that you keep buying. If you really believe in the project, you keep buying, and I've learnt that's so true. I think I bought some more PivX not long after that, and it had gone up even more, and that's still at least gone 3 or 4 times the value. And I mean, we say a similar thing with EOS at the moment. It's gone up quite significantly, but I think it just comes down to whether you believe in the project and whether you feel like, is there still room for more people to get in? And at the moment, the whole crypto market only has, maybe 1% of the entire world's population in it, but I think it's probably not even that. Even then, a lot of them have probably only invested quite minuscule amounts.
The big 5 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So there's still so much room for this to go. And if we really do think that this is going to be the way that people exchange value in the future, then you're honestly looking at at least 4 or 5 billion people using it at one point in time in the near future. So it's just really about telling yourself, no, there's still more value in this. Yeah. Still getting a good price.
Well, do you know what? That's why like what I was thinking about actually was EOS, because when BitConnect failed in that big week the other week where everything dropped, I bought in a bunch of stuff. I bought some Cloak Coin, which we'd mentioned in our privacy episode, which is episode 9. I'd been watching it and I was regretting I hadn't bought it just after we published. But on that day when all the markets went red, I bought Cloak Coin at 20%, 30% discount on the previous day. I was so stoked to that. I've already more than doubled it since then. But yeah, with EOS, that was the thing because I bought my first EOS back in November, I think, and I think I bought about 200 EOS or something at a really good price. It was about $2.67 at the time, Australian. And now, yesterday I bought a bunch more EOS, but I spent about the same amount of money, but I only got 24 EOS instead of 200 EOS. So it's the real FOMO because I'm buying the same thing for more money, but at the same time, there's so much potential in it.
Yeah, and that's what you've got to look at. Because it's like anything. People are only going to pay what something they feel like something is worth, and the reason people are now paying $900 for Ethereum instead of 16 is that people think that Ethereum is worth $900 per on Ethereum rather than 16. There's some projects out there that the amount of material they're putting out, the way their development's going, the how communicative the team is. I really feel like they're quite undervalued and they've got a long way to go. But even big things, like even looking at Dash, like this Brisbane International Airport announcement, the Dash, it said Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dash. That was like the third name off the rank. And thinking about it, I was like, yeah, well, Dash makes sense because it's really quick. And it's really quick, and it's made its name by being quick. And, you look at Dash and there's only 18 million.
So I'll be right back. I'm just buying some Dash. Boy.
And it's gone up a lot. Like since I remember when I first got into crypto, it's gone up a huge amount. But, you're not seeing it in shops yet. You're not seeing it in airports yet. But once all that starts happening, so many more people are going to be accessing the system and wanting to get themselves some Dash so they can start using it in day-to-day life. So, yeah, I think wherever you can, if you really believe in a project and you think that it has significant value and it still has a long way to go in terms of adoption, you should still be buying as things increase because you're still getting that at a very early level. Just because Amazon did really well in the early 2000s doesn't mean that people stopped buying Amazon stocks in 2006 or 2007. They kept buying because they could see that this small company was turning into a bigger company and then into a juggernaut, and the guys that bought all the way up, the guys that bought in, 2000 and then bought all the way up to 2006 were still loving the gains on their 2006 stock as much as they were loving their earlier gains.
It's true because it's only the things that you didn't do that you're going to regret when you die.
Yeah.
And buying Tesla at the current share price, I'm not saying you should invest in Tesla, but I've been watching Tesla for years. I love the whole thing that's going on there, but I haven't been buying it, and I've been watching it just grow and grow. And the thing is, on a big scale, Tesla is still tiny. And yeah, so I'm just going to buy in for the same reason because they're gonna grow. They're going to change the world, in my personal opinion. And I need to be a part of that. So it's better to have some skin in the game than none at all.
Get in, mate.
Hey, will do. So this week's cool tool, interesting little site called Cryptflix.com. So they've stolen the Netflix naming style and they've called it Cryptflix.com. So I saw this on Reddit. I was on Reddit cryptocurrencies the other week. And the post was, for people like me with ADHD, this website is the best way to learn about crypto. I learned about the top 50 coins in less than some nonsense. Anyway, a lot of the comments on the post were saying, oh, you're a shill, you're just trying to promote this website. Nevertheless, it's a really interesting website. They've designed it just like the Netflix website. We'll put the link in the show notes, but it's basically they've put together. I think they've just compiled all the official videos from all these different coins, and they've put them into one place, so you can just sort of explore the top cryptocurrencies just through video, which for some people can be really, really, really useful.
It looks cool, mate. It looks really cool.
There's one for PivX there. You got Cardano, all the big coins. And
Dogecoin has one there.
Yeah, so you can just sort of watch the videos there.
It's not just cryptos though, is it? There's like exchanges and platforms. Like you got Steemit here, you got Binance. What else we got? Particle.
So if you just want to watch a bunch of really cool cryptocurrency videos and you don't want to have to like browse YouTube or any of that, really, really interesting idea. Cryptflix.com.
Jordan, we got you?
Oh, hello. Yes, Matt. Yes. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, mate. How you going?
Oh, dude. I tell you what, it's been a rough ride the last few weeks. There's one thing leads to another. I tell you what, I'm still on the run. My wife is still looking for me. It's dangerous. It's dangerous times.
Right. So you did escape?
Well, let's just say I got my way out of there. I'm down a few. Like I've lost a lot of my cryptocurrency that I've been spending to get my way out. But you've got to pay good money to get out of horrible situations, huh?
That's very true, Jordan. Very true. So where are you now?
Oh, I'd rather not say again, just for the security. Some of my listeners have been trying to get in touch with me and finding me as well. It's a bit awkward, huh? I'd rather not say, huh?
Jordan, why have your listeners been trying to find you?
Oh, it's a funny story actually, Matt. Well, you remember Bitconnect, right? Yes?
Oh yeah, the blatant scam that let a lot of people rip their friends and family off. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh, well,
why?
I don't know if I'd call it, that's not to put too fine a point on it, but yes, maybe it is a scam now, huh? But let's just, I was actually making a lot of income from the affiliate side of Bitconnect, and I got a lot of my listeners to sign up to Bitconnect and put a lot of their savings in there, and they've named me in a class action lawsuit, and I'm a bit worried actually, because I've actually lost my money as well. We've all lost our money together. We're all in the same boat. They may have put a lot more than I did, but we're all losing.
Right. Okay. But Jordan, it should all be fine, shouldn't it? You've got the finest Venezuelan lawyers on the case, don't you?
Look, Matt. I think we're just gonna have to. I think we're just going to have to leave this one here. I'll get back to you on it.
Okay. See you, Jordan.
If you know someone who might enjoy this, please feel free to share this, share the podcast with them. You can find us at fomo.show, and that website has got all the episodes and a few other articles and bits and pieces we've put in there. So our how to buy cryptocurrency page is there. We've got a how to sell cryptocurrency page that's coming up anytime, and a great place to send your friends. I'll be expanding the site as we go.
You can jump on our Slack at fomo.show/Slack.
And you can follow us on Twitter at _FOMO_show.
You can follow us at Facebook at facebook.com/thefomoshow.
And YouTube, you can find us at fomo.show/YouTube.
You can also find us on Steemit at steemit.com/@FOMOShow.
Awesome. Well, that's it for us here at the FOMO Show. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. If you like our show, please subscribe in your podcast app of choice.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Joe.
And as always, remember,
no FOMO. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about balls. I've got the notes wrong already.
Hey!
Hey, good work. Mate, I'm going to start that a little bit again.
You can also find us on Steemit at steemit.com/FOMO show. Damn it. Oh, I didn't get to write anything for Jordan.
Nah, that's fine, mate. I just wrote that and just left it at that because we can always just improv it, huh? Ooh.
Mate, that was pretty good for completely impromptu.
Mate, that cough of yours sounds horrific.
Oh, man, you should have heard it a couple of days ago.
Oh.
I've not been this sick in a long time, man. And then, like, going out in minus 12 degrees temperature and snowboarding around all day.
I'm going to be so poor by the end of the month because I just want to... you just want to jump on opportunities, but yeah.
But, mate, we can just go hang out at the Brisbane airport and pay for things with our crypto.
Mate, yeah, we should do it. Maybe we should become buskers that are just in the little airport town and have